What's going on, everybody? In this video I want to look over Nndm stock. We're going to talk a little bit about the Murchison saga going on and also this fight to be the top 3D printer. We have both Nndm and Triple D stock, or 3D Systems, both fighting to acquire Stratasys. But let's talk about all this and more in this video. And first off, let's go over this Murchison news. If you don't know who Murchison is, they've essentially been attacking Nndm and its executives. And we had this vote done by Murchison, not done within the company, and it seems like a lot of shady things are going on. See, Murchison covered this news once the vote was complete. They said basically that Nndm shareholders overwhelmingly support all four Murchison proposals, which include the removal of the CEO Yoav Stern, of course, and 3 other directors. And then, of course, appointing their own people, their own Murchison nominees. Well, something's a little scandalous here. According to Nndm, shareholders overwhelmingly did not support these proposals because over 90% of Nndm shares that aren't owned by Murchison either voted against this proposal or didn't vote at all. And essentially, excluding Murchison's own very shares, their proposal only got support from less than 10% of the shares. And Nndm believes that this meeting, and therefore the vote, is invalid, and that we should disregard any voting results released by Murchison. And another thing to think about here with this proposal is the type of people that are going to vote for this are likely people that already had some kind of issue with Nndm. I don't know about you, but me personally, I didn't vote yes or no on this proposal. I remember seeing it and the announcement and thinking, I don't want any part in this. Well, by us doing nothing, Murchison was able to basically manipulate things and do exactly what they wanted, or try to. And going back to this hit piece by Murchison, look at what they said. The numbers speak for themselves. Shareholders have sent a clear message that change is urgently needed. Well, in reality, less than 10% of Nndm shareholders voted. And of this vote, Murchison owns quite a few shares. So that skews the numbers even more. And in one of my last videos, I also mentioned something else with Murchison. Basically how this frivolous lawsuit by Nndm was ruled out of court. Well, here's Nndm's response. Nndm sets the record straight on a New York federal court ruling and corrects the misleading information as published by Murchison yesterday. Now this is from July 12, but I didn't cover this in my last video, and I think it kind of fills you in on what's really going on. So yes, the US District Court did dismiss this case filed by Nndm against Murchison. But why is that? Let's look at this. Nano filed a complaint with the court in March 2023, asking the court to address Murchison's and Anson advisors' failure to make disclosures required by US security laws. And as a direct result of Nano's complaint, Murchison essentially amended their securities disclosures, which is the whole reason that Nano was giving this complaint. And basically they failed to let us know that Murchison obtained more than 10% interest in Nndm's ADSs, or American Depository Shares, and were working together to attempt to take control of Nano and obtain its assets. And of course, another thing that points to this is that shareholder meeting that they held. And Nndm also says this: Murchison's description of Nano's suit as frivolous is wrong and mischaracterized the court's decision. Rather, the court found that Nano's suit achieved the goals of Section 13D, and the court dismissed the claims against Murchison as moot precisely because, as a result of Nano's suit, their coordination was finally revealed. Murchison amended their respective securities disclosures, as I said. And this also goes into this shareholder vote. The court's ruling permits Nano to pursue its claims concerning Murchison and Anson's misconduct in New York State Court, which Nano fully intends to do, as Nano has alleged and will pursue in New York State Court. Murchison and Anson breached the depository agreement by and among Nano, the Bank of New York Mellon, and ADS holders and owners by staging an illegal shareholder meeting, where they conducted an illegal vote and attempted to unlawfully replace Nano's rightful board members. Nano also intends to pursue other state law claims against Murchison and ask the state court to redress the steps they've taken to unjustly enrich themselves at the expense of Nano and its investors. So there's definitely a lot going on with this company, a lot to deal with Murchison, who seems to be trying to take control from the inside, failing to disclose how many shares they have, also conducting this, what Nano calls, an illegal vote. And of course we have this battle to be the top 3D printer. Nndm and 3D Systems are both trying to acquire Stratasys. While Stratasys is kind of going a different route, seems unimpressed by these offers by Nndm and 3D Systems, and instead are trying to work with Desktop Metals. But let's look over some things regarding that. Now this article came out June 30th, so Nndm has since given a higher offer for Stratasys shares. But basically, Stratasys has rejected separate offers from both Nano Dimension and 3D Systems. And at least Nano Dimension's previous offer, which was $20 per share, Stratasys said this substantially undervalues the company and is not in the best interest of Stratasys shareholders. And they added that the unfair coercive offer process conducted by Nano makes it very difficult and confusing for shareholders that own Stratasys shares beneficially, as do a vast majority of Stratasys shareholders, to file a notice of objection. And then of course we have the 3D Systems proposal to acquire Stratasys for $750 in cash and 1.3223 newly issued shares of 3D Systems common shares. And Stratasys says this is opportunistic and continues to materially undervalue Stratasys, does not constitute a superior proposal, and does not provide a basis upon which to enter into discussions with 3D Systems. However, earlier on that day, the Donner Rail Group, which has an ownership interest of 2% in Stratasys, urged the company to accept 3D Systems' offer, which could likely lead to a superior proposal and terminate its planned merger with Desktop Metal. And if you didn't know, Stratasys, Nano Dimension, 3D Systems, they are among the top 3D printing companies. I personally think right now we are kind of going through a battle where they're trying to gain as much control as possible, as much market share as possible of the 3D printing industry. And they essentially all see each other as huge competitors and are all doing what they can to gain an edge. But let me know what you guys think about that. I will leave you with a video here at the end, kind of going over Stratasys and this Desktop Metals move that they made. But before that, let's look at the chart. And like I said in my previous video going over the chart, we still do have to break out of this roughly 325 area. I think a break of that will push us higher. This was a previous resistance, and that was back in March of 2023. And we still have this resistance right here recently that we touched in July of 2023. But keep an eye on it because we are moving awfully close to it. We are looking at a green day today. And if we can get a couple more, we will break out of this resistance. And we also very recently saw a golden cross here. And the EMAs are also becoming bullish as well. Watch for the yellow to flip the red. This is the 50, and if it flips the 200, that gives us all the more reason to be bullish, at least from a chart perspective. Now also be cautious because it is quite overbought on the RSI, so we might be looking at a little bit of a pullback, and the MACD does look like it's nearing a turnover. But this to me is a beautiful chart. I would definitely be watching for a break of 325. I do think a break of 325 will push Nano Dimension much higher. But let me know what you guys think about what's been going on with Nano Dimension lately, and of course the whole 3D printing industry. The big boys are all fighting for market share, and each of them respectively doesn't want to be left in the dust by the others. Thanks again for watching, guys. I will leave you with this short clip by Stratasys and the Desktop Metal deal.
Your company recently rejected a takeover offer from rival Nano Dimension, yet here you are getting ready to buy Desktop Metal. Why does this particular combination make sense?
Because it will reshape the industry. The 3D printing industry or additive manufacturing for years is failing to deliver what manufacturing really needs. But with the combination, we'll create the scale to deliver.
And with that scale, are there certain clients or certain slices of industry that you think you can really sell into now that you're pulling in this additional functionality with this acquisition?
Definitely. We are leading in the aerospace and automotive markets, and we are also leading in dental and medical, but we didn't have the metal part. We are focusing on polymer. Now together, we are selling to the same customer through the same channels, a much bigger portfolio, broader portfolio, and we'll be very profitable to leverage our scale.
Yoav, you say profitability. Talk to us. Day one, what is the financial impact on Stratasys from bringing this company in the fold? Are we talking an immediate revenue boost? Is there a margin accretion? Kind of talk us through the financial side of this acquisition.
Great question. We are the only profitable, Stratasys is the only profitable business in the 3D printing arena. Desktop Metal announced that they will be profitable by the end of the year. When we combine us together, we'll be the first above $1 billion company in this industry. This is huge. In 2025, we'll sell $1.1 billion with EBITDA margin of 10 to 12%. This is something that does not exist today in additive manufacturing because we are not mature enough.
Yet, and I appreciate your pointing out that you are profitable and you're a leader in that space. 3D printing seems to be a pretty fragmented space right now. Give us a sense of who, once you combine with Desktop, you'll be able to better compete with now, even beyond the 3D printing ecosystem.
We will be better equipped to compete with the entire, second, third, fourth, fifth, because we are number one. And the main reason is the broadest portfolio, unmatched material portfolio. Material and software is key in our industry. And those are also the ones that generate the profit. So when we are coming to customers, we have two huge advantages. One is that we are selling him whatever he needs, not what we have, because we are covering the whole technological space. So we are not selling what he needs, we sell what he needs. The second thing is that we have a full solution, including the material and the software, so the customer does not need to look outside our platforms.
Another advantage you could have or you could tap into is the shareholders of Desktop. Desktop Metal went public in 2020 through a SPAC, and one of its biggest shareholders is Alphabet with about a 3% stake in the company. Do you anticipate working more closely with Alphabet as a result of this transaction?
No doubt that we can benefit and cooperate with a great shareholder base of Desktop Metal. It's a group of people that believe in innovation. Desktop Metal is bringing the innovation to the table, but we are bringing the establishment, the go-to-market, the infrastructure to make this innovation a real product that delivers values to the best marquee customers in the world.
You say you'll look to them for help on innovation and bringing that innovative spirit. What specifically are we talking about when you think about the Alphabets of the world and how they can kind of lend some of that innovative spirit to you as well?
Desktop Metal are located in Boston. They are highly linked to MIT, and that tells the entire story. It's so hard to find talent in our industry, and the ability to have great links in the academia, plus great shareholders that are interested in breakthrough technologies, I think it's a great way to take forward.